And welcome to the fourth stage of our 2017 Spring Sport Coaches interview. We have the coaches from the four county high schools, and they've each brought a player with them for the boys tennis teams that are going to be taking the court this spring. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking some time out of your Saturday morning for no pay and a little bit of food to show up and promote your sport. We want you to know that we we recognize the importance of all the sports that take place in Columbus County. That's one reason for our Columbus Cup competition. After having two girls that played tennis in high school, maybe I have a little extra appreciation for the sport of tennis as well, and know how hard that the kids work and the time and effort that's put into it. So we like to shine that spotlight on you occasionally too. So anyway, I want to find out a little bit about each one of your teams and some expectations for this year. And we're going to start down here to my left with East Columbus, Coach Williamson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad you could be here today. Let's take a look at some of the players that are not with you this year that, according to the roster that I pulled, I believe Haywood McCoy and Dakota Locklear, Terry Brown, some people that you'll be missing from last year. Tell me a little bit about their contributions.
Each one had their own contribution to the team. Haywood was a key player in being in the top five there, so we will miss him greatly. But we are able to fill those places, fill those spots, and the team is moving up, and we have a solid top five right now.
And you basically, I think, fourth year coaching?
Yes.
And you've pretty much, and I think your girls' tennis team helped you somewhat, have kind of recruited and revitalized the boys' tennis program at East Columbus. And I know Tavo is one of your a soccer player as well.
Absolutely.
And you have several people from the soccer program that have played tennis for you in the spring. I guess the footwork skills that they develop during soccer come in handy on the tennis court?
I think they do. Agility is a big thing for tennis, I think, and Tavo is an excellent player in soccer and both tennis.
Returning, I know that he won something, and you'll have to forgive me for not having exactly what it was. Doubles, singles,
doubles. He and his partner Marco made it to the state championship, and of course they lost out in the first round. That was a lot of competition to go up against, but they played very well. Very proud of him.
And Marco back as well, right?
He is, yes.
So that should be a doubles team that
very
will be
interesting. That's
worth
actually
watching.
One of our goals that we're looking forward to making again, going back to the state as a doubles team.
Okay, well, since we mentioned that, let me ask you about that experience. Tavo, what was it like to advance and get to play in doubles at the state level?
It was just a feeling I couldn't explain. It being my first time, well, my second year playing tennis, but my first time making it to state. It was just amazing.
And you just said just your second year playing tennis. So
yeah.
Before you got recruited to play on the high school team, tennis was something you had never done before, right?
Yeah.
And
well, no, I haven't, but yeah.
Right. What do you enjoy most about playing tennis?
I mean, it's a team sport, but you could also rack up on individual trophies if you really work for it.
Right. So you can have success as an individual even though the team isn't. And do you prefer, I know you've had success in doubles, do you prefer playing doubles or do you prefer playing singles?
I think I get further in doubles than I could in singles.
Okay. So you like to have that partner to rely on,
yeah.
right? Okay. Coach Williamson, coming back to you for a moment, do you pretty much have a seating order in line already, or you have a good idea of who your maybe let's not name them by seed, but who some of your top players are that you expect good things out of this year?
Just looking at practices, our starting tryouts, I guess we could say this week, we're looking at a solid top five. We have Marco returning with Tavo. We have Hector Palacios returning as well. Harley Potter is also returning. Devin Young is another key player. He has worked really hard, so he's looking really good right now. We also have Weah Locklear returning, and a couple of new seniors that want to join.
So and that's something I was going to mention later, but since you've mentioned it, the success of the program has started to, instead of you having to go out and pull people in, the success that you've had and that the attention that these young men have gotten is starting to draw some more people to the program.
Absolutely. We do have a couple of freshmen and sophomore that have had some questions. So we're still open. We haven't made the team yet. So.
I look at your results last year, and we were talking about the individuality, but yet a team. You had a deep team because even in defeat, you were never shut out until you met up, unfortunately, with Raleigh Charter, and
right.
They're in a different stratosphere. We're not going to use different league when we get into the
stratosphere's
tennis,
good.
the tennis type things. But you are always able to pull out a couple of points in any match against anybody. So you had good depth throughout your squad, didn't you?
We did. I just feel like this men's tennis team is just solid as far as dedication to the sport. I know that there's 3 or 4 of them that have literally practiced all summer on their own. They work when I'm not even able to be with them. They're out there either at school or they're at a park. I know that to be truthful, and they are working diligently any chance they get, to perfect their backhand, forehand, and any other thing they want to work on. So, very proud of them.
Okay. Let's move down next to South Columbus High School. Coach Burrs, are you the dean of boys tennis coaches in Columbus County, or even in the league?
You let somebody else answer that question.
So I guess you're just saying I'm the old man here.
Yeah, that you've been doing it longer than anyone else.
Yeah, actually, when I first started at South Columbus, I coached boys tennis for 3 years, and then I moved into varsity softball for 11 years and gave up the softball and took the boys back, and I think I've been the boys coach for 3 or 4 years now, and put in the girls there also. So I guess you could call me the dean. I guess I keep this group the way they should stay.
Okay. I believe 9-3 in conference play last year. St. Paul's was the conference champion, but you finished second to them. 9-3, good overall record. Just a little bit about last season and what you accomplished and who you're missing off that team.
Yeah, well, we had a really good year last year. We finished second in the conference, like you said, behind St. Paul's. And I can't exact was my one other loss to you, or who was my other loss to East Columbus? I think it was. And we lost 2 from last year's team. We lost John Morgan Lewis and Flint Ward, which was my number 2 and my number 6. And I think we're going to be able to replace them this year. We've got a lot of new faces on this team. Where they get soccer players, we get baseball players that decide to leave baseball and come to tennis. Somebody was telling me the other day that tennis is becoming at South Columbus the cool sport to play. A lot of boys want to play tennis now. A lot of athletes want to play tennis. I had actually I think 3 this year that usually play baseball, and now they're playing tennis. And I don't go out and recruit them; they come to me and ask me, can I play tennis or whatever? And I'm like, sure, come on out. And if you can get athletes and you can teach them the basics of tennis, then that athleticism will come out. And I think that's what's going to help us this year. And I expect to be hopefully as good as we were last year, or possibly even better than we were. So our goal is to vie for this conference championship and take St. Paul's down.
Okay.
So.
I'll get to Noah in just a minute, but do want to mention Mason Hewitt as a player from last year's squad that ended up playing. And I don't know if he had very much tennis experience. Most of his background was baseball, but played for you, and I think kind of worked his way up in your seeds as the year went along, just simply because of the additional experience he got, and turned out to be quite a find for you.
Yeah. Mason started out at number 4 when the season started. He moved his way up and played pretty much through the regular season as number 2. And then him and Noah met in the conference championship singles, and it was a great match. Mason did end up winning. We had a string to break and on his racket, and he pretty much had to change. And, when you change rackets, that throws you off. And, even though Mason is going to start out at number 1, Noah here has already informed me that he's ready to take that back. So, there's going to be a lot of competition through our top 6. We've already had challenge matches already. We have Griffin Hanna, which is an ex-baseball player that's came in, and he's actually taken the 5 spot for us, and he was actually the wide receiver on the football team. Just came up and said he wanted to play, and we welcome him. But we're looking to have hopefully a really good year this year.
Okay. Let me ask Noah a question. I'm going to make a statement and then let Noah correct me. I've seen you play tennis, and it looks to me like one of the things you really enjoy about tennis is hitting the ball hard.
Well, that's a very good thing about it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you enjoy most about playing tennis?
I just enjoy being able to hang out with all the players and just have fun. It's not really a big rivalry or anything between us. We're all kind of friends. I get to hang out with some of the other players at the other schools, and they're fun to hang out with. It's a fun sport.
Do you find I made you somewhat well known because of your volleyball skills. Pat myself on the back here a minute. But do you find that some of your volleyball skills carry over onto the tennis court?
I would say so. For moving side to side, running back and forth, being able to swing up and hit it down, just flicking wrists and stuff. It does help.
And you prefer singles or doubles?
Singles.
Okay. Interesting, because in the volleyball it's doubles that you're playing, right? So, but singles in the tennis. All right, let's go back to Coach Burroughs here for a moment. What's a realistic goal for South Columbus Tennis? What goals have you set for South Columbus Tennis this year? I know that as opposed to the other schools, you're in the 2A level, and typically you run into some better opponents in an early round than a lot of times in the 1A schools do.
Yeah. Well, our goal is to hopefully maybe win a conference championship this year. Now, every time we go to these other schools, we better be ready to play. I mean, I don't look past any of these teams here, because I think any of these teams can beat any team at any time. Just hopefully that we show up and everybody has their best day. That they work hard, and we hope the chips fall to where we can vie for a conference championship. And I think that we maybe have the players to work hard to do it. I was telling them earlier that we'll have our hour and a half to 2 hour practice, and I'll have to take up all the balls, and then after I leave, the kids grab the balls again and go for another hour after I leave. And as having a family with 2 little girls, I can't stay out there to 6 and 6:30 every night, so I have to cut it off at some time. But these guys do work hard, and they love it. And like Noah was saying, we have a good time. I think that's why a lot of people are wanting to get involved with tennis at South Columbus, because they know that that we have a good time, we have fun. Our main goal is to win and compete, and I don't like losing, and my players don't like losing. But when we win, we celebrate. I mean, we'll go out to eat. We'll have a good time, and it's a family atmosphere. And I hope they love going out to practice with me, because I'm out there competing with them. I go as hard as I can. I may not be as young as they are, but I'm gonna give each one of them a test when they come to practice. So.
All right. All right, let's move down next to West Columbus High School. Coach W.T. Edwards this morning. Looking at the roster that I pulled off Max Preps from last year, it looks about like it's about 50-50 for players lost off last year's team and players returning.
Yeah, we lost our number 2 player, Grayson Jarvis. We lost our number 5, Adam Jens, and lost our number 6, Tyrone Dundee. But like some of these other guys said, we've picked up. I know one baseball player for sure, Aaron Elkins, who was Logan Elkins' brother. I don't know if you remember Logan from girls tennis.
Absolutely.
They have a tennis family, so I was excited when he decided to come play tennis. And then we have a lot coming back, moving up. We have Mayshawn Harris coming back, who didn't get to play last year because of an injury, a leg injury. In his sophomore year, he went to the he actually finished runner-up, I believe, in the singles tournament. Went to regionals, did well there. So we have some coming back. We are definitely going to miss the ones that are not back, seniors last year, but we do have some coming back that are ready to work hard.
Well, and at West Columbus this year, we can say, well, there's always hope.
That's right. That's right. Always hope. As long as you got divine hope on your side, it's always good, right?
Right, and I believe he was your number 1 seed last year.
Yes.
And advanced into regional play, I believe.
He finished second. He finished runner-up in the conference tournament.
That's right.
It was a very tough match with Whiteville's number 1 last year, and he finished runner-up in that one. But yeah, Divine has been working really hard, and Divine has stepped up to be a leader for these guys and kind of show them the ropes. And like the ones that are coming from other sports, he's kind of taking them under his wing, kind of try to show them what we do and how we do things. You
personally must like this boys tennis team, because I know now that you've taken over the varsity boys basketball job at West Columbus, you're going right out of one season into the next, where it would have been easy to say, let's find somebody else to do this or whatever. So boys tennis apparently holds a little special place in your heart.
It does. I genuinely like being around the guys that play. I like being around them and seeing them succeed and seeing them work hard. We have a good relationship with all of us, and I am their coach and teacher for a lot of them, but if they do need something, I think they know that they can call on me, and it's hard to just let go of relationships like that with students. So it wasn't really a debate for me to give that up. I told them last week, I said, listen, I'm trying to get out of basketball mode. Basketball mode and tennis mode is a little bit different. I'm a little more vocal on the basketball court than I can be on the tennis court, in games at least. And so I'm transitioning my mind into that play. But luckily, we have a lot of seniors coming up, and they've kind of taken over this past week. And the top 6 have been working hard to get back in that mode. So I'm excited to start. I'm excited to get out there and ready to go.
Okay, let's go over here to Divine a moment. Divine Hope returning as the number 1 seed for West Columbus. And Divine, having played number 1 already, you know what the competition at the top is like. Are you looking forward to that again this year?
Yes, sir. I think I'm ready. I think so.
Have you been doing some work prior to the season? We've had some wonderful weather for our spring sports here in January and February to get started. You've been preparing before official practice started?
Yes, sir. I've been running more, trying to get my body ready for the season, with stamina and stuff like that. And then we've been out, like you said, the top 6 been out practicing for like 2 weeks now, just going hard, trying to get ready for the season. And
what do you consider the best part of your game?
I would say my serve, especially when it's on, it's on. So.
Okay. What do you have any individual? We talked about it, tennis is unique in the fact that you can have a team that does not do well, and you can have individuals that flourish. Do you have any individual goals set that you want to accomplish in addition to the team doing well?
It's basically both. The same for both. Like I would like to win more matches this year, and just as for the team as well, I just hope we do like a little bit better than we did last year. Always push to do better, and that's just what that's my goals.
Was Coach Edwards telling the truth when he said he was a little bit more laid back on the tennis court and easier to get along with?
Yeah, it's most definitely a family feel on the team, and like he said, he's our coach and our teacher. But sometimes, I could look up to him as like a older brother or uncle or something like that. So it's most definitely like a family feel on the court.
No, I was hoping he'd say grandfather, but I don't guess we'll be able to do that. All right, thank you. All right, down here to my right, we've got Sally Medford for the Whiteville Wolfpack, and oh, okay, I was hearing something else. Okay, and Sally steps in first year,
Yes.
and in a program that has gone from not being in existence 2 or 3 years ago to starting to regain its footing. And what are you looking for this year out of Whiteville Wolfpack tennis?
I want us to be successful. We were talking the other day with the guys having their individual goals and the team goal, and we want to be successful to go out there and do our best.
I think maybe last year or year before, I'm going to say last year, success almost was getting the program back reinstated where enough people were interested in playing where they could field a team, which I guess just kind of unusual that you've always felt like Whiteville with a little bit more of the city feel to it or whatever, more people would gravitate towards tennis, but that just hasn't been the case recently, has it?
No, but I think it's building. So I definitely feel like it's building.
Okay. Who are some of the key people that you're depending on this year to fill some of your top spots, you think?
Well, we have 5 returning players, and we have 11 guys out there, and I see a lot of potential. We've been out practicing, and they did a round robin, and so they've already done a challenge match, and so I'm excited about the year. I think they'll do good.
Okay. Have you gotten any feedback from them as far as your coaching style as opposed to I know in previous seasons maybe it's been more someone that they've been in charge of the program but not necessarily a tennis person. Do they see you more as a tennis person and a more structured practice schedule type thing?
I hope so. I think so. My husband helps me out too. He's the assistant coach.
Okay.
And I played for Whiteville 18 years ago in high school, so I have a love for it and appreciation, and I hope they see that. And my husband comes out there and he helps us out, and so hopefully they get that feeling.
Well, it's good to see the numbers, and we'll go over here. And you brought, I believe, Gavin McPherson is with you, and Gavin was nodding and saying yes when we were talking about the structure of practice. First of all, how many years have you been involved with the tennis program at Whiteville, Gavin?
Last year was my first year playing, and I think my whole team was playing. That was the first year, so.
Right. So rebuild. So you're seeing a lot more structure and tennis instruction going on a daily basis in practice now.
Yes, sir.
And are you excited about the upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think everybody's got a lot better, and they want to win. So I think we'll win some games this year.
Okay. What do you do best on the tennis court? What's your strength?
I think my forehand's the best for me. It's not my serve. I think returning serves probably the best.
Okay. And she has talked about goal setting. What are some of the goals that you've set for this year?
I just want everybody to win some games and just have fun with it. I think we'll be a lot better this year. I hope so. How
is tennis, for lack of a better term, I guess, perceived? You've got the boys that are playing baseball, and of course that the baseball program. There's so much talk about it, whatever. Do you think maybe the tennis kind of gets? There's such a big shadow cast that it's hard to get any recognition when you are playing tennis.
I think we're bringing it back. We got 4 football players on the team now, because 2 seniors. It was me and Shane Nairn. He was the number 1 last year, so
right.
We both played football. We were talking about it in the locker room at football, and we got 2 seniors playing football now. They're working hard. I think they're getting better. Okay,
that's good. Coach Medford.
Yes.
Has there been an active recruiting of maybe athletes from I know that the athletes from fall sports are encouraged to play something in the spring, and so you're getting maybe some carryover from that in football. Have you or anyone actively been maybe recruiting some people saying, hey, you need to get out there and then give tennis a shot?
Not so much. I think they kind of did it themselves. We do have some soccer players too, which I think they're just athletic and they have the footwork and agility. So we'll probably push that a lot more next year because there's several seniors that are on the team. So we'll definitely have to push it up next year. But we're still building.
Okay.
We're excited.
All right. Let's go back here to the left. Coach Williamson, what would define a successful season for East Columbus boys tennis this year?
A successful season for us would be to win as many matches as possible and make it all the way back to regionals and then to state.
Tava, you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Here at South Columbus, Coach Burrows, what defines a successful boys tennis season?
Making it through the season with no injuries is one of the biggest things. Kids having a good time and enjoying themselves, and as they all probably going to say, winning games and winning matches, and hopefully get in the highest position that we possibly can. But all in all, just when they get done at the end of the season, just be able to say, man, I loved playing tennis this year, and I can't wait for tennis to start again next year. That's what makes it successful for me and hopefully the boys. Just the love for it and the want to play.
Noah, anything to add to that?
I mean, as long as they feel like they played their best and had a good time, I feel like that's the goal.
Would you like, since this is going out live, would you like to send Mason a message that you're coming for him? He knows that. He knows that already, right?
I mean, I don't have anything there.
Okay. All right. Coach Edwards, successful season for West Columbus.
Sure. I echo what Coach Burrows and Coach Williamson said. All of us are very competitive, and I've coached with these guys for a while, and I'm excited to coach with the new coach at Whiteville. But we're all very competitive. We all want to win. We all want to be successful. We all want to build our programs. And I do want to thank you guys for broadcasting all the sports and getting tennis a little recognition. I think Columbus County Tennis is a very good county for tennis. We have a good tradition, and also we are all working very hard to build our programs, and I think that's exciting all the way around. But at the end of the day, I get excited and I get happy when I see them having fun and when I see them playing well and playing up to their potential. And I think if you have that success, it builds the program. It also builds their confidence, and they can thrive and go for the future. I am excited. I think that we'll get a little more experience this year, a little better record than we did last year. We have a lot coming back. We have some pieces that were back this year that weren't last year. So I'm excited to start, and I'm excited to see what we're working with.
Divine, anything you'd like to add?
Well, just like everyone else said, winning games and just coming closer as a team would be successful. Keeping that bond between us all, because at the end of the day, whether we win or whether we lose, we still have to deal with these same team members throughout the whole season.
Right.
So just keeping that bond and keep striving to work harder. That's it.
Okay, Coach Medford.
To be successful,
Yeah.
Our goals are we want to win some matches and get out there and get the guys having a good time and enjoying the game and enjoying the season and coming back.
Okay, Gavin.
Yeah, I agree. I think that as long as we get better every day, just get better every day and try to win some matches, we'll be fine. Have some fun with it.
I'm going to start here, and since it's your first year, you may not, and this is the last question.
Okay.
And you, being first year, may not be as familiar with it as some of the other coaches. The elephant in the room in sports, on the 1A level, especially like tennis, is you can have success in the conference, but you know that not too far up the ladder, if you go into the playoffs, you're going to run into a school where you're going to have 6 players out there, and all 6 of them probably have their own private coaches sitting there in the stands watching them play. Does that take something away from the competitive, where you know that the likelihood of a state championship because of what's up the road and the fact that there's no junior tennis program necessarily, in Columbus County, and you don't have players that have been playing for 15 years, that type of thing. Does that take anything away from it?
I think if anything, it drives you to push harder. Yeah, I mean, yes, that is with tennis, and we don't have that building program, but
Right.
yeah, I think you just have to take that and let it push you to do your best.
Okay. WT?
Yeah, we've all had that discussion. There's a big debate within all of us between public schools, private schools, charter schools, that kind of debate. When we get to that level and we try to go up there and fight for our guys, it's kind of hard. We're outnumbered a lot of times with what they have going on. And I know that they have experience, and that's not their fault, and they're taking advantage of that, and I appreciate that. But I agree that it has to drive us, it has to motivate us, because otherwise what do we have to shoot for? So I think we have to, and that's our job as the coach, to try to get that mindset right, because tennis is very physical. It's a lot of footwork, a lot of agility, but it's also mental. Tennis is a very grueling game, and you have to play 1 point at a time. And I think that's the case when you look up the road at what you have coming forward. You got to realize that they're going to be there, and you have to prepare that way. So it might take extra time on a Saturday or on a Sunday when you're by yourself, and just letting these guys know that tennis is a lifelong game. You can play tennis your whole life. A lot of sports, baseball, football, basketball, the main sports, a lot of times that team aspect is gone when you leave high school, or if you go into college, and that might be it. Tennis is a lifelong sport, so if we can get that in their mindset and kind of let them know that at any time anything can happen with each point, I think that's important. So I'm excited about the opportunity to go against some of those schools again. I think that eventually we're going to get to a point where we do take one down, and it's going to be exciting for whoever it may be, so I'm excited to see what's to come.
Brett, you don't run into that quite as much on the 2A level, but you do run into schools that are more urban oriented than South Columbus that have players that have been playing for a number of years. Frustrating, challenging, how would you describe it?
Well, I was exactly thinking in my mind about what you were saying. We play some of the city schools.
Right.
Like the girls, we played Carrboro, Chapel Hill this year. They came to our place, and I would much rather coach my girls than maybe some girls from the bigger schools, because of just attitude and things like that. And it don't really bother me that they've been playing since they were 5 years old. That my kids are starting to play once they come into the 9th grade. Our biggest thing is to compete amongst each other.
Right.
I think that's our state championship, and if we can win a match in the state playoffs, that's a positive. There's probably not going to be a state championship in this area because of just where we live.
Right.
There's not a lot of private lessons going on and things like that, but it doesn't frustrate us. We know that when we play these schools that they're different than us, and our goals are more of a local level than a state level, and nobody hangs their head when we get beat by a Carrboro,
Right.
because they know that they're a lot different, than what we are. So I just think that the local competition is what drives our kids,
Okay.
and drives us as coaches. So.
Coach Williamson, firsthand experience with that last year.
Absolutely.
Raleigh Charter.
And the year before.
Yeah, so
First round playoffs, always Raleigh Charter, and it's quite a different experience. But it is an experience in that it gives them such a challenge, and they can see, firsthand that they are, like they were saying, they're different, they're better in so many aspects. But I'm kind of like Coach Burrows. I love the attitude of our players compared to some of the, higher level schools, I guess you could say. They come out as a family, and I enjoy the camaraderie that we have among our coaches. We're all competitive. Like they said, I'm looking forward to working with Coach Medford. Hopefully she's as competitive, but hopefully she'll put up with Coach Burrows and Coach Edwards the way I have. And we have fun, and I like that. Although we're rival schools, we all are a family too, and I can really appreciate that. Our girls had a player that had a tumor and had to have surgery and couldn't play the rest of the season, and Coach Burr's teams just stepped up with some gifts and showed love and outpouring, and I think that's what it's all about.
Right.
And I love playing at the county level.
well, I appreciate everyone again taking time off from Saturday, and hopefully that we will make this an annual event and continue to shine the spotlight on all of the coaches and all of the players in all of the sports, because you're out there busting your butts and giving up your time, and I know how much you're getting paid. So it's because of your love of the sport and your love of the young people that you're working with is the reason you're out there. So hopefully this, a biscuit, a muffin, something to drink, and an opportunity to talk about your team a little bit made it worth coming out here on Saturday morning. So that's going to conclude our fourth segment with the boys tennis coaches and players here in Columbus County, and we'll be back for the fifth and final segment with track and field in just a moment.